largely about, is that there will be a sense that people have stepped through the doorway.
Yeah.
And actually started to enter the new, I call it the intuition age, just because the information age is still, I think we had the industrial age and then the information age. So it was body with the industrial, right, where everything was machines. And that went into computers, which got so fast that it jumped us into information, which is the mind.
Right.
And then that mind started going faster and faster and faster, and the amount of information we were trying to process has increased geometrically, so that at this point we can't process information in a linear fashion anymore. And we have to give up the cause and effect thinking and move out of the left brain into the right brain, into the body, into the field consciousness.
Yeah.
And that's spirit. That's intuition. And it is only through intuition that we're going to be able to even basically grasp what the new reality is about. Direct knowing, total immersion into something. It won't be through logic and analysis.
Because it'll be so slow and cumbersome, it won't be even relevant to...
It won't function.
It won't work. And it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might try to, hit it with a hammer to get it to go there, and they're going to have some problems with it.
Well, they'll self-destruct.
Yes.
And I think that will happen to a number of people who are too stubborn or too locked into an old reality to be able to understand how change could occur.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who are really waking up, and like I said, in the doorway, and they're going to start to get a felt sense of what it's like in the new reality. And some of the symptoms of it are, it's all in the present moment. And so that manifesting things becomes instantaneous. So that there is no sense of future anymore. The future is in the present moment, and it is simply a higher frequency of the present moment. But it's in you now. It's not separate from you. If you would raise your vibration, you'd be in that level of reality. It would happen immediately. So there's no sense of how we know how long something takes to happen. That's going to change. It's going to be, well, how easily do you raise your vibration? Well, then it'll happen faster for you. And so a lot of the way things are going to function have to do with the way we use our perception. And that's a whole new art form that's coming in. And there will be a shift out of technology into telepathy.
Yes. I've heard that from many guests, and I've also felt that myself.
But I think this may happen in 2012. Like, as you go through the doorway, suddenly you realize that you think about somebody and they call you on the phone. Or you just know about them in a dream.
Right.
And call them. Or, it's like the barriers between people will melt. Right. Because we're entering the unified field where everything is connected to everything and everybody knows about everybody and everything is, it's known.
Right. And that would include politicians and the rest of it. So when people have a bad intent or they're lying, that becomes instantly known or obvious to all of those who are in integrity and in telling the truth.
That's right.
And you can only be authentic with yourself, with your vibration, if you are 100% in your own integrity.
Yeah, and people will, I think, get more used to feeling what the home frequency is, and they'll know when things vary from that.
Right.
When they're not in alignment.
Right.
And there will be much more a sense of the fact that all beings are in the moment with you right now, and actually they're inside you. They're in you. And so if you want to do something, they're sitting right there waiting for you to ask so that they can have something to do. It's like, hey, let's play. What do you want to do next? Oh, okay, let's do that. And in a certain way, too, you can relax because the ideas you get are coming from all of us.
Right.
From you and from everybody.
Yeah.
Because they want you to have those ideas.
Yeah.
So that you can do the thing you're good at doing and give that back to everybody so they can have what they need to do their next thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's so well coordinated and such a perfect fit. You know, it's like just amazing. And that's what love is like in action. Mm-hmm. You know, love is not some mushy-gushy thing about romance necessarily.
Right.
It's part of this amazing laws of the universe and the way everything fits together and works so perfectly.
Yes.
And it's like you feel it and you just go into awe. You know, it's like, oh, I'm so happy I'm alive. I get to play with this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I think maybe, 2012 is about people suddenly kind of waking up and feeling like possibly their past is gone. Possibly they feel so much more interconnected to everything, and they're like letting it affect them. They're starting to get it, what the golden rule is all about.
Right,
for instance,
right.
And that it's not just a philosophy. It's actually the law. It's the way it works. And, that some of these things are just going to be ingraining into us suddenly. Mm-hmm. And then on the other hand, like what you were saying before about the old systems falling apart, and things, I think simultaneously there will be a kind of disintegration of the old dinosaur-type forms of, dictatorship and control and the corporatists and
militarization and
yes, and a lot of that where willpower was trying to keep control of the world and keep power and and hoarding.
Oh yes, well, for instance, hoarding technologies that have been available for 60 years. It's common knowledge that there's been free energy and incredible breakthroughs that have been held through private corporate interests and guarded by the military. So there's no secret about that. And people who have tried to release some of that stuff have met with unfortunate circumstances.
Yes. They were before their time.
Yeah. So it seems that those times need to come to an end. Simultaneously with our ability to move into a new paradigm.
And I'm sure that's what's going to happen.
Good.
That there is a simultaneous fading out of the old, control-based structures and will-based structures and a rising of the, I want to say it's like an innovation movement. That's what I see coming, is like a sudden, real strong focus on creativity, innovation, and a kind of I'm almost seeing like people starting to tune into higher dimensions.
Oh, yes.
And then get together in groups so that they form a group mind.
Yeah.
Then the group mind tunes into those higher dimensions and connects with other beings, non-physical beings, who have very high levels of, for instance, technological information or advanced, knowledge. Right. And then they come down and give these groups new ideas, and then there are these mass inventions and things that come through.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
And it's like, breakthroughs in energy solutions and healing of, cancer and whatever, the AIDS and stuff, where before it seemed so difficult, and now suddenly it's like the most natural thing in the world that, of course, we have a new source of energy. Or, of course, we can heal high-frequency illnesses. It's like we will eclipse that old consciousness about difficulty.
Right.
And there are going to be a lot of things that happen very rapidly, and I think that it's like the small business people, the inventors, and probably cross-cultural, too. It's not just national-based anymore. It'll be teams of people from different countries working together.
Oh, wonderful. That would be just wonderful, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, and you think about it, we're becoming global.
Yeah.
We're learning that other cultures have ways of being that we could use, too.
Yes.
And that's going to happen. I also think it's going to happen between generations. Because I have seen teams of children working with adults to bring through inventions.
Wow.
like the crystal children or whatever they call them, you know.
Right, right.
That they're very tuned into these higher dimensions. And so they may be bringing this stuff through even at age, 9, 11, young children. So I'm really pretty hopeful. I mean, I know that, unfortunately, some people won't get it.
Right.
Or they won't open up, in a timely fashion. And so I do think that there will be quite a few people who die. But I don't think that's a tragedy, because I kind of feel like there will be a little bit of a bifurcation of the Earth, so that the people who choose to leave, they'll come back into a planet that's of their own vibration. And they won't really know anything has shifted. They'll just continue on evolving. Mm-hmm. But those of us who've moved into a really higher vibration and are deeply shifting, will come into a different planet that's much more energetic or, higher frequency planet where things just work differently.
Well, now, there's a third category of people, and that would be the controlling elite and those who have intentionally created wars and horrible scenarios in order to amass huge fortunes and basically buy up the world. Mm-hmm. They're not coming with us, are they?
You never know. It's each person has their own pathway of evolution, so you don't know who might wake up in the 11th hour. You never know. You can't judge people. Their souls control it, and I think that people who are just stubbornly stuck in control, they probably will leave, somehow or other, and come back in again. Not that I don't know what paradise means, but I mean, after this kind of shifting period occurs, I think there will be a much higher emphasis on building civilization, building community, and large group mind kinds of structures. It won't be so much based on individual competition.
Right.
It'll be much more about the group mind just allowing things to materialize out of it, just to show up, like new formats for cities or government and stuff like that. So it'll be major changes. Forms
of unity consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
In alignment with the planetary soul as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, as you see it might be a collective participatory event of a higher nature, and it's so creative because everybody gets to play and enjoy it, and it seems like creativity and the love that you're talking about are the forms of monetary. It would replace monetary systems.
Yeah, I'm not sure what would replace that exactly, but I'm sure there will still be something like that. But it almost feels like a dream I once had where I saw a bunch of people sitting around a conference table, and there was this new invention of this holographic video game. And everybody they didn't even have a machine, they were doing it telepathically. Uh-huh. And creating a three-dimensional movie in the middle of the conference table that was floating in the air. And then everybody was just concentrating on it and thinking and reacting and responding to what the other people were creating. And it just was evolving like at light speed.
Wow.
And things were happening really fast. And I thought, wow, that's the way it's going to be in the future. That's what we're actually doing in reality right now, but we're not aware of it. Mm-hmm. But what if we turned it into a game? And it was a positive video game, not one where everybody was destroying things.
Right.
Where we're building things and creating new life forms and whatever.
Right.
Wow, it could be amazingly fun.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that vision. I'm going to hold on to that one. Well, one of the things that you mentioned in your book, and I want to say also about your book, is that there are many many, I don't want to call them exercises, but there are many ways to practice